My name is Alex Toomy, managing member of Ragged Branch Distillery out of Virginia. We make straight bourbon whiskey, the old school way, all 53-gallon barrels. Everything's over 4 years, most of it's 5. And we have a passion to fish, and Jimmy called me about Meet Mayhem, and I was fired up about it. I couldn't wait. I never even dreamed that we would win our first leg of the tournament, but it's sweet that we did. And Meet Mayhem, we are getting so much traffic on social media for the distillery. This relationship has been short, but it's been fantastic. You know, I'd only fished in some like little rodeo stuff at the marina where everybody was keeping fish for 3 days in their boat. And this was so professional. I didn't know what to expect. I never fished a professional tournament, but we ended up hooking up with the right captain, Chris Tossett, and the Ocean's Edge Marina is absolutely a wonderful place. And the Meet Mayhem guys are just cracker jack. And they paid out over $200,000, and this has been a treat for me and our guys, and we are excited to keep doing it. We farm about 1,000 acres at the distillery, and we grow crop and feed cattle there. And so we have a lot of deer. I've been managing the property for 4 years. We have not harvested a buck off the property in 4 years. You get to come to our tasting room house, which is a really beautiful house. It's as nice as any hotel you've ever stayed in. The views from there are as nice as any views you'll ever see. And you'll get to stay 2 nights and hunt deer. You could come for spring gobbler if you wanted, but we'll feed you. A chef will come cook our beef for your meals, and we'll take you out. We'll either guide you. If you're an accomplished hunter, you can go do it on your own, but it's worth doing. We make straight bourbon old school. We hired the late master distiller David Pickerel when he retired from Maker's Mark, and he set up our whole program. And we hold true to the old tradition of making bourbon. As a matter of fact, I just read a book last week, and our lineage goes all the way back through Pappy Van Winkle to Stitzer Weller. That was done in 1800s, and that was passed on to Pickerel at Maker's Mark, and now he's passed it on to us. And I taste every barrel before we put it in a batch. And my motto's always been, do it right and do it right now. So we make great straight bourbon whiskey, and we're down at these fishing events to promote being in Florida, and we're in all the Publix in Florida, and we have 2 recipes down here, and I hope you enjoy it because our guys work very hard to make it. We work 7 days a week, 10-hour days. So we have 2 Meet Mayhem recipes. We have a wheated bourbon, and we have our signature bourbon, which has a rye flavor component. So we were tasting barrels one day, and this signature barrel I tasted, I said, oh, this is a good one. So I put it aside, and then I had a wheat barrel that I tasted that we call a cherry barrel, where it's really good. And so when the guys from Meet Mayhem came, we went into the Rick Barn, and I really wanted them to try it, so they would pick out the main barrels for the event. So the Meet Mayhem guys tried the barrel. They agreed that they were good barrels, and we went ahead and did a special label for it. We do this for a lot of people. People come and do single barrel tastings, and we put them up in the tasting room, and it's a lot of fun, and they get a really awesome barrel. So at our distillery, we're a totally sustainable distillery. We grow all the crop. I say we take the love off the crop by making the whiskey, and then we take this spent grains, which we call mash, and we mix it, we feed it to cattle. And just coincidentally, this beef is fantastic. And I know every rancher will tell you have good beef, but I've had the leaders in the industry tell me this is fantastic beef. So winning the Traeger grill is incredible. because hopefully we can get up with Traeger and we can start cooking our good beef on those grills and spread it around. We mainly focus on the whiskey. The cattle are our mash disposal system. So we use the beef as a marketing thing to pull whiskey through restaurants or special events. Like we'll provide the beef at a Meat Mayhem event, and but we're excited to cook a brisket on that Traeger. So when we first started making whiskey, we just started feeding it. We were feeding 62 steers with it, and we were in the beginning. It was new, and we were scrambling around, and so we just kept feeding the steers, and the steers actually got gigantic. And I sold them because if you taste sour mash, it's exactly like it sounds. It's sour. So I didn't know what those steers were going to be like. So I contracted with a processing company in Pennsylvania to buy these steers. And there were 2 steers that couldn't get on the tractor trailer. And so I decided, well, we'll go ahead and harvest these. And a buddy of mine had started a processing plant called Seven Hills Foods in Lynchburg, Virginia. And so we took them down there and he processed it. And he was so excited that he drove the meat back to us at 9 o'clock one morning, and we started cooking ribeyes and hamburgers at 9 in the morning. And it was like, all of us like, oh my goodness, this beef is fantastic. And so it was a lucky coincidence. Then the guys that work for us graduated Virginia Tech Agriculture Department. So then we really started dialing in the ration and mixing things and we analyzed what the mash had in it. And now we are processing some amazing beef. So fishing, so I saw that Nicole at her bed and breakfast in Louisiana liked bourbon. So I reached out to her to see if she wanted to try her bourbon. First of all, I wanted to try her bourbon to make sure she liked it. And after she decided she tried it and she liked it, I said, hey, why don't you fish this tournament with us? So Nicole Spence on Instagram is part of our marketing team throughout the Southeast. So we were out there fishing, and there was we had a good bite and had some head shakes. And we were like, I don't know. So Nicole grabs the rod, and the captain's looking at it, and all of a sudden when the captain, our captain Chris is very intense. There's no playing. It is working quick as you can, as fast as you can, running as hard as you can. And so when he grabbed the gaff and said, hey Justin, take the wheel, I knew something was going on. And when it took him 2 hands to pull that fish over, and he started jumping around, doing a little jig on the boat, I knew we had something. So we were excited, jumping around, screaming, high-fiving. It was amazing. To be honest with you, I had no idea what the payout was. I thought we would win some Coastal sunglasses. I had no idea that there was money involved. I knew we'd get a bottle of bourbon. And then all the guys at the distillery are saying to me, well, what if Alex wins the hunting trip to the farm? Well, who's going to guide him?
First place overall with a 61.6 pound kingfish. Grand total for this team, $50,805. Team Ragged Branch.